Arguably, the most talked about subject in 2022 was that of Depp vs. Heard, where the ex-couple from Hollywood fought a detailed court battle from April to June 22nd. The trial that began as a consequence of the 2018 Washington Post op-ed where Amber accused Depp of domestic violence had the whole nation and even the whole world latching on to the Virginia courtroom drama that ran for almost 2 months. The case and the assertions from all of the people on the stand, including Depp and Heard, were analyzed, studied, and criticized by all sorts of professionals, from lawyers to psychologists to even nationwide judges. After countless statements, limitless internet memes, and ultimately the verdict, Heard ended up losing the defamation case that her ex-husband had filed against her. The court ordered her to pay her former partner some $10 million in damages as a result. The open to public court battle between the exes saw many discrepancies between Heard's statement that ultimately stood her as the loser. Many times was Heard caught in her own web of lies. Among the many factors that caused her to lose her case, the most common was that most people believed she was not being realistic at all, be it her demeanor, her narratives, or her stories. And as the case progressed, more and more people started to think Johnny may be the innocent, especially after Heard's continuous unrealistic theories about what had happened. So here are the moments on the basis of which things went south for the Zombieland actress in the court. But before getting into the video, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for all the latest updates. Her mood throughout the case. One of the jurors from Depp vs. Heard in June 22nd explained the temperaments that Heard showed throughout the trial were all suspicious to most of the jurors. This juror stated how Heard staring at the jury made them all uncomfortable. They also became skeptical every time the Pineapple Express actress cried after every question, whilst instantly turning ice cold a few moments later. Many of the jurors, after seeing Heard's behavior, went as far as labeling her emotional state as mere crocodile tears. On the other hand, the jurors said Johnny remaining constant with his nature at the trial made them believe he was more real with his answers. The donation. One major blow that hurt Amber's case the most was the revelation that she had not yet donated her $7 million divorce settlement to charity, which she had previously claimed to do so.
And actually were all kinds of accusations flying your way when you said all this, and then there was a divorce settlement, you got $7 million. People were saying this is all about the money, but then you did something that twisted that whole argument. What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
ACLU.
As it was shown on several internet footages where Depp's lawyer Camille asked Heard if she had given her divorce money to charity as she promised, Heard can be seen saying anything but yes to that question. This apparently was one of the first turning points in Depp vs. Heard, and also the point where the jury started shifting away from Amber, taping her ex-husband and teasing him whilst doing so. Depp vs. Heard also featured some recordings done by both the ex-couple. In Depp's recording, Amber can be heard saying to her ex-husband to go and see what happens when he will claim he was abused by a woman. As in Amber's taping, people heard the Edward Scissorhands actor cursing some words, in addition to being mostly under alcohol influence. While he doesn't utter any sentences that might have gravely hurt his case, the analyst ironically questioned why would Heard tape her intoxicated husband all the while staying close to him, instead of leaving the home for her own safety, especially since she claimed how dangerous Johnny would become once getting under the influence. The audio also showed Amber being the more aggressive one than Depp.
Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Were you in here?
No.
So then nothing happened to you this morning?
Yeah, you're right. I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice. We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
The taping that was done by Heard also led many to wonder if she deliberately wanted Johnny to go mad and erratic, not taking accountability for her part. Even the jury accepted that Depp too was at fault at times during his relationship with Heard, but Johnny took accountability for the bad things he said to her when they had fought and for some other screw-ups. Heard, on the other hand, remained detached from taking any such responsibilities for her evident mistakes and words she had thrown at her former partner. Understandably, not accepting mistakes on her part did not sit well with her reputation among the jury. Naming a makeup brand that hadn't even existed. The most famous answer from Heard, whenever she was asked how come she didn't have any bruises from Depp's beating, was that she had used concealer from Milani Cosmetics. The actress said she had been using it since 2012 and even earlier, prior to using them to hide her injury marks. The cosmetics company, however, took offense after this testimony of Heard, and they later came out themselves, pointing out to the truth that they had released the concealer makeup in only 2017. This also made Amber the laughingstock among the world, and the jury became a bit more doubtful of her, calling out Kate Moss. For many, Heard mentioning Depp's ex-girlfriend Kate Moss was the nail in the coffin moment for the actress. While it was never necessary in her case, Heard nevertheless naming Moss as one of her ex-husband's abuse victims during the trial sent the case almost to its final point. One also simply cannot forget the viral sudden moment of "yes," the famous fist pump from one of Depp's lawyer, Ben Chow, as soon as he heard Amber calling out Moss's name. During one of her testimonies, Heard mentioned herself once hearing about the incident where Johnny allegedly pushed Moss down the stairs when they were in a relationship. She presumably brought this out to point out that Depp was indeed an abuser. Later, Moss was eventually called as a witness, and to Amber's shock, she defended Johnny, and unfortunately for her, the British model said she never sustained any physical abuse from her ex-boyfriend. Moss revealing Johnny never caused her any sort of physical harm turned out to be another important movement, and Depp was Heard, with the advantage going to the Public Enemy's actor, and at the same time just another mistake from his ex-wife. Edited photos. During the trial, Heard's team was caught editing multiple photos through which the actress tried to show the bruises on her face and her body. But in the final week of Depp vs. Heard, Johnny's team called her out for the photos she submitted in addition to scanning the pictures through metadata experts and running them through forensics. The lab experts later concluded the photos that Heard showed didn't match forensically and that they all had been modified one way or another and very likely edited. These were also details, albeit relatively small, that made the jury question Heard's credibility. Speaking of recordings, the one incident which the jury cannot overlook was the 2015 fight between Heard and Depp when they were in Australia. In the audio, the world heard Amber urging Johnny to stop and resolve the conflict rather than running away and avoiding her.
A jar of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You could please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
This recording came out to an deliberate confession from Heard, where she says, "I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I didn't punch you." Heard in the audio also told him to grow up and also told him a baby. This archived behavior from Amber also led the jury to reconsider who really was the victim in the infamous defamation case. Firing her PR team. Heard was constantly the frontrunner in headlines, even more so than her opponent Johnny. From tabloids making storylines out of her concealer story to her pledge thing, the blonde actress was almost always the talk of the morning for many trial watchers. And one of her other blunders was firing her PR team mid-trial and then hiring new ones. Many believe this move by Heard, done too late to save her image, also contributed to her losing the case. Well, that is all we have here for you today. Make sure to hit the like button if you like the video and dislike it if not. Comment down below and tell us what, according to you, is the reason behind Amber Heard's loss.